It's all yours, Sherry.
All righty. Hi, guys. Sherry Kirshenhuter here. Welcome to the Monday night call. I am in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, right on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I've been with LifeVantage for 8 years now. And I just got back from the Growth Summit. So I'm going to talk to you about that. But real quick before I do, I just wanted to remind everybody, hopefully you're all over it. I'm a little behind because I was out of town this weekend, but make sure you're using your customer discount codes for the 10% off. They're good for a few more days. We have through the end of the day Thursday. And then you also, everyone got one additional discount code for consultants. So that is good through the end of the month. So you have a little bit more time on that one. And then as far as the rest of the announcements and updates, I'm going to let y'all figure that out. And all that information can be found at hub.lifevantage.com. You also just got an email from corporate, so that should be in your inbox. And that gives you the rundown on everything. And just as a reminder, tomorrow in the US consultant Facebook group is our Momentum Live on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain. So that is always a wealth of information. And I don't always catch that live, but I am able to go back in and watch the replay, and it's always really good training. So that's a valuable tool. So I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about the exceptional experience that I had this weekend. And I have to tell you, this has been a bucket list item for me, a LifeVantage bucket list item for probably as long as I can remember. At the time when I started, it was a Pro 5 summit, and it has since changed with the Evolve compensation plan. It's now called Growth Summit. And my understanding is we were the first class, which was kind of fun. They're going to be hosting them. My understanding is twice a year. So we were the spring class. There will be a growth summit in the fall. So you have an opportunity to earn it. So absolutely go for it. It's worth it. There's something really remarkable about earning a trip. And this is one that you are rewarded for your stepping into leadership and, helping you achieve that next level of leadership. And it was a great training, but it wasn't just training. It was being wined and dined. We were taken to 2 beautiful locations. Friday night, we had dinner at the Thanksgiving garden, and there were tulips everywhere. It was absolutely stunning. And then Saturday we went to the LifeVantage office, which I had been to the old office. I hadn't had a chance to see the new office, so that was really exciting. It's beautiful. And we had training in the morning. And our trainers were Mark Shinsato, he's a presidential, and he's one of the big guns. And then Kim Kabinski, and she, if you haven't heard her speak, she's phenomenal. She was at Nashville, and she was amazing for us too. Probably my biggest takeaway from Mark was he made a comment about when you bring on a new consultant, if you are a amateur network marketer, you're going to just let them do what they do. If you want to be a professional network marketer, you're going to help them and work with them to get them where they want to go. And that's true. We all want our consultants to succeed. And that's why I'm excited about these coupons. They shared some great stats with us. Let me pull those up really quick. Jeff Pincock calls them Bible stats, which I thought was interesting. And we got some of those from Tara when she went over the discount codes with us, but I'm going to repeat them in case you didn't hear them because these are phenomenal. Consultants that earn a check within 7 days are 5 times more likely to rank advance to SC1. 5 times. So I think that is where they're putting their money where their mouth is. They want our people to succeed, and they're giving us the coupon codes to do it with, which I think is fantastic. Another one, consultants earning more than $250 that's 250 within the first 30 days are 30 times more likely to hit SC1. That to me is just incredible. So if you're working with them, if you're helping them get those first customers and consultant, and they make some money the first month, they're more likely to be in it to win it. This is another one. Consultants that achieve a personal enrollment, meaning that they enroll a consultant within the first 30 days, earn twice as much as those who don't. So this is where it becomes really crucial for us to help those new consultants get a win, get a team going. I know, it's harder when you're trying to do it by yourself. So, you want somebody to be able to run with you. I have just a couple more. I thought these were really interesting. These are collagen-based statistics, and we all know how well the collagen is doing, but this really underlines it. Customers who enrolled with collagen result in higher retention at 42%. So if we bring people on with collagen in their order, they are almost half as likely to stay. I think that's pretty incredible. Customers who enrolled with a stack result in higher retention at 33%. So again, it's really important to get people on the right combination of products. My vote, Healthy Glow. And then enrollments with a subscription that include collagen will just retain longer. So, I mean, I thought those were really great. And it's just really interesting to get some, business details and be part of that, kind of leadership role. We also, a couple of perks, which I thought were great. We got professional headshots that we'll be able to put on our Zooms or whatever. I thought that was a great perk. What else was really fun? We got to take pictures with, what's her name? I think it's Michelle Osborne, the gal that does Legacy. Her Jeep was there. So we were taking pictures with her Jeep, that kind of next reach for a lot of us. So it was really a great event. And so I encourage you, it took me a long time to get there. Don't give up. I mean, there were other people like me that had been with LifeVantage. There was one that was 6 years, one that was 12 years. So it just really underlined for me, if you stick with it, if you do the business, you can get where you want to go. Just don't quit. Just stay with it. And so at this point, I wanted to introduce our trainer this evening. And let me just pull, I've been bouncing around too much on my phone here. Okay, so Melanie is going to talk to us tonight. And She has been married 35 years to her husband, Mike. They have two grown boys, Aaron and Austin, and they both have families. So Melanie has three grandkids. She's our favorite CPA, and she's always got good advice for us around tax time. We appreciate that. She's been a CPA for 17 years with her very own firm since 2011. She was introduced to LifeVantage in 2018 and jumped in to help um, a business networking friend grow her business. But she saw health results in herself, and she no longer has carpal tunnel in her wrists or seasonal allergies or asthma. So that's pretty incredible. But she's seen the most astonishing results in her dad with his health comeback after stage 4 throat cancer. So that's great, Melanie. I didn't know that. That's amazing. You can't drop a health comment during a tax appointment with me and not hear about the life-changing benefits of LifeVantage. So there you go. That's her open window. And the reason that she's doing the business, her why, is because she wants to grow her LifeVantage business to retire from her CPA business in 4 more tax seasons. So we got you, Melanie. I know you're going to do that. So I'm going to pass the call over to you. I can't wait to hear about FOPO.
All righty. So the reason it looks like I'm looking to the side is because I have 2 screens. So I put you guys all over on the second screen. I'm going to share my other screen real quick. So can we, let's see here. Okay, so can you guys see that? Because now all I see is you guys' little boxes. All righty. So recognizing FOPO and strategies to work through it. So FOPO is an interesting little acronym that I heard about on a podcast that I was listening to, and it really spoke to me. So FOPO is, well, let's see if I can get this to move. Whoops, one too many. Fear of people's opinions is what FOPO stands for. FOPO is an anticipatory mechanism that involves a physiological, psychological, and physical activation to avoid rejection and foster interpersonal connection. And it's basically basing it on, you're not basing it on real feedback. You're kind of assuming or imagining that feedback. And it's pretty exhaustive when that's all you're thinking about and how to avoid that negative evaluation. So stages of a FOPO attack are anticipation, checking, and responding. Anticipation is playing scenarios. Will I be accepted if? What will they think of me if? And this is where I've landed for almost 6 years. I'm a CPA. What will they think of me doing network marketing? It's really in the back of my head almost all the time. I'm getting over it. But I think that's why this podcast spoke to me, is I play that game all the time. So then when we're in the middle of the activity or the event, we're checking for cues of what people are experiencing. We're looking for micro expressions, tone of voice, body language, and word choice from the people we're participating with. And then we respond. Do I fit in? And acceptance, we're looking for that. So if it's yes, you get a brief sense of relief, but it's short-lived because then you're on to the next event that you're worrying about. And if it's no, then we can respond in one of 5 ways. We contort our actions to fit in, so it's kind of performative. We conform to perceived norms of what we think they might like. We actually open up confrontation. We argue back with one person in the group to see if that negative response is just from them or if it's from the whole group. Or we can disconnect, cut ties from that group after we feel rejected. And then the 5th option is to turn inward and respond based on our own standards. And this is the healthiest choice. So on-ramps for FOPO is you have a poor sense of self. We look at to others to see how we should feel about ourselves. And our society is very performance-based identity. And so this is one of the little kind of feedback loops that he had in the book that the gentleman who was the guest on the podcast that I listened to wrote this book about FOPO. He's a doctor of psychology. And one of the examples he gave was fear factor. Who might suffer the most FOPO? So it was kind of a contest between a PGA professional, a weekend warrior golfer, and a PGA golf course pro. And they had like a chipping contest or a putting contest. And they all kind of did okay. And, you know, the weekend warrior was pretty happy because he got it close to the pin. The PGA professional was like, well, I told myself I'd get 17 out of 20 and I made 18, so I'm good. And then they started putting cameras and or an audience around them. And with the camera and the audience, the PGA course pro was the one that had the worst negative reflection of that, because he had a perceived sense of I should be good. And so when he wasn't as good as he thought he should be, he really felt like the other people would reject him. So it was really kind of interesting. The weekend warrior, he didn't feel anything. He thought it was kind of exciting to play in front of a camera or people. And of course, the PGA Tour pro, that's what they do all the time. So he wasn't ruffled at all. So it was kind of interesting to see the examples that he shared. So like I said, we now live in a performance-based identity. Our identity is our subjective sense of self built on experiences, beliefs, values, memories, and culture. And it provides a framework to understand our place in our complicated social world. Sources of identity are our characteristics, whether it's race, gender, family, job, and our roles inside those characteristics. Are we a CEO, a writer, a student, a wife, a mom, a player, a captain? So we can have all kinds of many different roles inside the different characteristics. We live in that performance-based society. So how well we do not only impacts how others define us, but it also impacts how we define ourselves. I see this in youth sports where people, instead of my boys played everything, each sport was a different thing. I remember when my youngest was little, he'd come home from daycare and whatever sport was on TV, he'd be flinging off the school clothes and putting that uniform on. He was putting on hockey uniforms and baseball uniforms and football uniforms. And so he went through all of it. And now it seems like kids find that one sport and that's where they are. And then it's based on performance. If they do well, they kind of really hone in on one thing. And then of course we have technologies for performance measurements are everywhere. You can have fitness, sleep, time management use. I have a little cube back here that I tried to help me with keeping track of time, since as a CPA, I bill on time. And so there are all kinds of technologies to measure our performance, to give us yet one more feedback. And then our self-esteem becomes contingent on our performance or the outcome of the event. Performance is meant to be an expression of who we are, but not the definition of who we are. So strategies to work through FOPO once you recognize that you're suffering from it. And this is where we really dove into my book. You can see I have multiple tabs on my book and I underlined quite a bit of it. So you want to build your house on a rock, a strong sense of self, to be built on who we are, not on what we do, not on who we do it with or where we do it. To integrate discovery and learning into your mindset. So give yourself space to grow, freedom to be wrong and make mistakes, and let go of what we know and make room for what we don't know. So don't be the expert in the room. Tara has always told us, if we're the expert in the room, we're in the wrong room. So value purpose above approval. I loved this one. Purpose is the belief that you are alive to do something and your purpose matters to you and is bigger than you. Purpose is not required for high performance, but when we are anchored to purpose, we are more resilient in the face of challenges and FOPO. Purpose is a powerful motivator that organizes our sense of identity around what we value most. And I highlighted one other thing. If you are clear on your purpose, core values, you have a mechanism to fight through FOPO. And then also to practice mindfulness, meditation to train your brain not to wander. They did a study on putting people in a room with no distractions. You know, it was just a plain room. And then measuring their brain waves and people's minds wandering and into this worry mechanism. It was quite interesting. So the final takeaways that I had from reading the book, and I've listened to a couple of different podcasts. The author has a podcast as well. FOPO is born out of our deep desire to be accepted and connected to others. It is a basic human need to belong. That's going back in biology, because you needed to belong to a tribe to survive. You weren't going to survive the saber-toothed tigers all by yourself. So we do have a biological need to be in a group. Fear of someone's negative opinion is a symptom of a deeper fear of being rejected. In its simplest form, the solution and antidote for FOPO has two dimensions: to have a deep love and care for others' well-being, and to be a contributor to the social fabric, and to act in alignment with one's purpose, values, and goals. I just think this whole thing fits so much into what we do, and you know, because we're looking for other people's well-being and health, and we want to act in service, to act and help other people, and to learn. You know, we approach this with asking questions and learning about what's going on with other people, and take the center off of ourselves. So when we act in alignment with loving others and at the same time work towards one's purpose, there is little space for the mental energy consumed by worrying about what others may or may not be thinking about you. So like I said, it really does focus in on what we do, because when we take that focus off of ourselves, of I'm not focused on I need to find those 3 customers to use those discount codes, it's who can I serve with those discount codes, because I know they need this, and maybe this is the thing that will get them over it. Here are the resources. So John Gordon's Power of Positivity podcast was where I heard the first part of this. So then that led me to buy the book, The First Rule of Mastery: Stop Worrying About What People Think of You. And then I've also listened to several of his Finding Mastery podcasts, and they kind of go off on different topics along the same line. They interview people who have used this. Mike Gervais was the performance coach for the Seattle Seahawks for, I don't know, 10 or 12 years or something like that. So he did use a lot of what he's doing in coaching high performing athletes. Now he's more into business coaching because of the COVID bubbles and stuff. He didn't move his family into the Seahawks bubble. And he's now kind of gone out, and now he's doing these books and the other speaking. But it all really talked to me with some of my fears that I've had. I learned a lot I implemented a lot in the last convention. They've always talked about meeting everybody, talking to everybody that you see in line. And I really made that a focus at convention, to talk to people while we were waiting in that crazy registration line. And then because our group got split up on Saturday, I sat by 2 gentlemen from Florida and had the best time. I've stayed in connection with him. I met some people that I also now follow online. And so I get some different ideas for sharing because it's from a different team. I roomed with a girl from Jersey Jill's team, and so I got invited into their group. And it's just learning and being able to be open to that. So that was what I took away from that book and those podcasts. And I'd be happy to answer if anybody had any questions.
Raise your hand if you can't relate. If you cannot relate. I think we all can relate to this topic. Oh my gosh.
That was such a fantastic topic, Melanie. I mean, it really is totally in the wheelhouse of network marketing. That is we all get stuck here, and it's all about what people are thinking. That I took I took pictures of your slides because I thought they had such great value. I'm going to go back and read them and keep them. And I did see a question in the chat. It was, what were some of the topics of the Grow Summit? They were, just the basics. It's really, doing this business. But I will tell you, I agree with Melanie. Probably one of the highlights of the trip was connecting with people from other teams. We've already set up like a messenger chat so that we can stay connected and continue to support one another. Just like Melanie said, I mean, it's nice to have those cross-line connections. Our team is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it's also good to have a different perspective. That's where you hear more stories, where you get, different ideas. So I think it's really valuable, and I loved your presentation. Thanks so much. And if does anybody have any questions? Did they come up with anything they want to ask Melanie? All right, guys.
Right.
I think that's a wrap.
Great.
Have a fantastic Monday. Thanks
Awesome.
for popping in, and we'll catch you next time.
That was
Good
excellent.
job, ladies. So good.
Thank you.